All right, men's and women's 100-meter dashes are done. They're complete. They're set. The teams are going to the Paris Olympic Games representing for the United States. But today, I want to dive into those 4x100-meter relay teams that we're going to be seeing lining up on the track at the Paris Olympics. Now, this is, of course, a huge point of controversy, specifically on the men's side, but, to a degree, the women, because selecting the actual teams, both for the prelims and for the finals, there's so many politics that go into it. There's so many, decisions that have to be made. Who's the fastest athlete? Who can, handle the baton the best? Who's in form? XYZ. All these kind of things come into play to determine who is going to be on the final team. Definitely check out the interviews I did with, Coach Michelle Lewis-Freeman, as well as Coach Mike Marsh while we were in the Bahamas for the World Relays. I got a chance to, dive in and talk about how they select the team, how they determine who's going to run which leg, and all those different things. A great conversation to definitely check out. But let's talk about who I personally think should be on the relays and a couple different combinations for the relays, both on the men's as well as the women's side. And we got to start off on the men's side, as this, of course, has been the biggest point of controversy, where the United States hasn't won a gold medal in the 4x1 since the year 2000. They also haven't won a medal of any color, if I'm correct, at the Olympic Games since 2004, right? 2008, they dropped the baton with Doc Patton to Tyson Gay. Then in 2012, they did actually win a medal. They got the silver medal, but unfortunately DQ'd because Tyson Gay was eventually banned, for cheating. 2016, we saw that they unfortunately passed outside the zone, I think on the first handoff between Mike Rogers as well as Justin Gatlin. Then 2021, they went to the Olympics, they ran, they finished, but we didn't actually see them qualify through to the final. I think it was Cravons Gillespie. He was on the anchor leg. And listen, the handoffs, all throughout that race just weren't great, which led to them not being able to qualify to the final. So we're talking about coming up on 20 years since they've actually won a medal at the Olympics in the 4x1. But we have a very, very strong team in terms of the 100 that's going to be going to the Olympic Games. So let's talk about who should be on this team. Spoke about it a little bit already, but we saw Noah Lyles get the win in the 100. Second place, we saw Kenny B. Third place, we saw Fred Curley. Fourth place, we saw Christian Coleman. Obviously, this should be the team, in my opinion. Now, people may disagree, but look at who we have. Christian Coleman on the start. He, of course, is the most explosive starter in the United States, if not the world, when talking about the 100-meter dash. And I think he'd be perfect. We saw him run it on Budapest last year. We've seen him run it at the Eugene World Championships in 2022, as well as 2019. So I think Christian Coleman, clear on that first leg. Few people are going to debate. Now, this is where we start to get some of the debate. Second and third legs. But Noah Lyles, of course, he has to anchor. Noah Lyles is going to be that anchor. He's, probably has the best top speed when talking about an American sprinter right now. All the, statisticians, go ahead, go in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong. But Noah Lyles, of course, should be on that anchor leg. Now, looking at the second and third leg, this is where things get a little tricky in terms of who should be on what place and this, that, whatever. But my opinion, Fred Curley should clearly be on that second leg. Why? Well, he ran that second leg at the Olympic Games in 2021 in Tokyo. Yes, handoffs weren't excellent, but I think he is very clear on that second leg. He, of course, is able to hit a really strong top speed where, he doesn't get the most perfect start. He's not explosive, like some of the other athletes from the blocks, but he is able to really maintain through the 100-meter race as well as hit a very strong top speed. So I do think that Fred Curley, and, he's coming down, of course, from the 400, in his previous career. So for him to be able to run that second leg, that longer leg, I think that works perfect for him. And then, of course, Kenny B. Kenny B should be on that third leg. I know that people kind of question his ability to run the curve, but look at his 200-meter races all throughout his career. He's arguably one of the best curve runners that the United States has. And I think he's shown it throughout his career. And I think considering what he's done in the 100 here, getting his personal best down to 9.87 seconds, put him on that third leg. Christian Coleman, Fred Curley, Kenny B, Noah Lyles, very strong team. I think they're more than capable of sub 37 seconds. I think they do have that capability.
4x1, it will be, my ideal order, it will be Coleman or Grant first leg.
Grant.
Me for second. Arian or Kenny third, and Noah will bring it home.
It's a strong team.
That's a hell of, anyone can challenge that? Any countries you think get close?
No.
World record?
Yes, definitely.
And I think with the speed and the team we'll be able to put together, I think we should be on world record watch. And I feel like I've had different discussions with Mike Marsh throughout the past couple years, but especially this year as well. And I think everybody's on the same page in terms of just the talent that we have to be able to go over to Paris and do something special. So I look forward to it.
And look at what we have for the men, where we have Noah Lyles, we have Fred Curley, we have Christian Coleman. These three guys all ran on the 4x1 in Budapest last year. all 3 of them. So why are we going to change things up if we can just keep consistent and just continue on the trajectory that got to the gold medal last year? All we're doing is inserting Kenny B, who showed that he is able to run on essentially any leg, right? He can run, on that second leg. So listen, I think these guys are going to be in a great position as we look forward to the Paris Olympics.
Let's talk about this 4x1 a little bit, where you ran at World Relays. You were kind of killing the back straight, like really cooking.
I say second. That second leg is mine. I'm not doing third.
Okay.
Second leg is mine.
Okay. So I'm curious why. So because in my mind, I was like, Christian, Fred, you, and then Noah. But you're saying that you don't want that third leg.
I mean, I can do it, but I feel like I certified myself as that second leg. Like I ran what was it?
You were running 8,
eight
on
something.
both heats and prelim final.
And we're not even peaked yet. By the time we get to Olympics, I'll be faster. So if I was running that fast back then, what can I run on that second leg now?
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, whatever the coach wants me to do, I'll do. But I prefer to do second leg, but if he wants me third, that's fine.
Now, we did see Kenny B run the second leg at the Bahamas at the World Relays earlier this year, and he was blazing, right? Running 8 seconds, splitting 8 seconds multiple times. I do think one of the issues is that Fred Curley isn't the greatest turn runner. We've seen that he has, he is extremely talented in the 200 where 19.7, 19.8 a couple times. He has that talent, but he doesn't run the curve as strong as someone like a Kenny B, or even as strong as someone like a Christian Coleman or a Noah Lyles. So I think the back straight is perfect for Fred Curley, whereas Kenny B, he's extremely versatile. He's able to run really strong on the straight, but he's also able to run really strong on the curve. And what I found, at least what I take away from the World Relays in the Bahamas, is that Kenny B is going to be able to handle that baton, including receiving and handing it off in, extremely tight situations, in extremely high pressure situations like he did at the World Relays. So putting on the third leg is going to, really just continue that trajectory of, yes, I'm going to be one of the most reliable, baton passers that we've ever seen in the United States. Kenny B is going to be one of those guys. So that's my case for the 4x1. I did put a couple other relays together where we could see someone like Christian Coleman, Kenny B, Courtney Lindsay to Noah Lyles, right? That could be a combination, but then, you would take away Fred Curley from the relay. You would put Kenny B on the, on the back straight, put Courtney Lindsay, who we saw at the World Relays in the Bahamas. He would go on the third leg. But it's a little tricky in that case where I think Fred Curley truly deserves to be on this relay. Also saw, another combination of Christian Coleman, Kenny B, and then Arian Knighton to Noah Lyles. Again, it's a little tricky, right? Arian Knighton, he's in some very good form, but not sure if, I'm replacing, Fred Curley for an Arian Knighton right now. I feel like Fred Curley is a lot better when we're talking about the 100 meters. Yes, let me be clear. Arian Knighton should be on the relay in some capacity, when we look forward to the future. Maybe he could be running in the prelims or something like that. But I do think that Coleman to Curley to Kenny B to Noah Lyles is probably the best team that the United States can send to win the gold medal at the Olympic Games. Now, over to the women's side where, again, I think considering what we've seen in the 100 at these Olympic trials, it is pretty clear-cut in my opinion, but there are some women who are definitely more so in the conversation when talking about, preliminaries or subs or even should be in the final. But let's look at the landscape. Sha'Carri Richardson, she won the 100 meters, 10.71 seconds. She's clearly going to be the anchor leg, right? She did it in Budapest last year. She's going to be the anchor leg. I think that's pretty much clearly settled. Second place, we did see Melissa Jefferson, 10.80 seconds. Third place, TT Terry, 10.89 seconds. So those were your top 3. Then behind them, we saw Tamari Davis, we saw Aaliyah Hobbs, Tamara Clark. So some very, very strong performances across the board. Now, looking at this relay, like I said, Sha'Carri Richardson clearly on that anchor leg. This is where things get tricky, but I think, in my opinion, it's pretty clear-cut. Melissa Jefferson should lead off the team. She led off the team in 2022, the team that actually won the gold medal at the Eugene World Championships. She has a very strong start. Yes, it's not the most explosive start relative to some other competitors, but Melissa Jefferson has a consistent start that we should not sleep on. So I think she could replicate what she did at the World Championships in 2022, and she should be on that first leg. Now, following up on that, I'm looking at TT Terry for the second leg. Now, this might be the most controversial one, maybe Melissa Jefferson as well, but TT Terry, last year at the World Championships in Budapest, she ran an amazing second leg. And yes, she wasn't in the 10-8 form that she is this year, or, she was in previous years. Of course, she ran 10-8 at the Prefontaine Classic after Worlds, but she showed that she can hold her own and really excel when she's put in high pressure situations on the relay. Last year in Budapest, she ran head-to-head, toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and of course came out on top. Now, shout out to Shelly-Ann. She did pick up a little bit of an injury, so she wasn't at her best, but TT Terry held her own. 2022, the most famous, relay for the United States in recent times outside of the world record, but she held her own against Sha'Carri Jackson. Yes, the United States got it ahead, but TT Terry could have faltered. TT Terry could have, completely choked and let Sha'Carri Jackson, the greatest, 200-meter runner alive right now, surpass her, but she didn't. She's held composed, she ran to her best, and she got the gold medal for the United States. So I do like where TT Terry is at. She should very likely, in my opinion, be on that second leg. I'm excited to see her, seeing what she's going to be able to do. And if she's in 10.89 form now, listen, by the time we get to Paris, it's going to be crazy. Third leg, this is where, I'm going to put one in, Gabby Thomas. Now, Gabby Thomas, she's arguably one of the most versatile sprinters that you would have for the United States. And I'm not just talking about 100, 200, 400. What I'm talking about is her ability to run any leg on the relay. Maybe not, the first leg, but think about it. 2021 in Tokyo, when the United States got the silver medal, she ran the anchor leg there. 2023 at the Budapest World Championships, she actually was training to run the second leg, but then at the last minute, there was changes that had to be made, and she ran the third leg and passed it off to Sha'Carri Richardson. So you're talking about her ability to not only anchor it off and be very strong there, but also run the curve, be very strong there, but then also run the back straight and be very strong there. So she has a lot of versatility, but considering the landscape of the women's 100-meter dash that we just saw, I think that Gabby Thomas should be on that third leg. Now, look at the consistency that we've seen with the team here. TT Terry, she ran second leg last year. Gabby Thomas, she ran third leg last year. Sha'Carri Richardson, she ran anchor leg last year. So you already have 3 women who have practiced on these specific legs coming off last year. Yes, Gabby and Sha'Carri didn't practice as much, but considering at least what I saw while I was at the World Relays in the Bahamas and my conversations with Michelle Lewis-Freeman, they are prepared to run any leg that they need, right? They're practicing on these different legs. They're making sure that if there needs to be changes, if there needs to be switch-ups, Michelle Lewis-Freeman is going to have them ready.
People think that no practice means we have nothing prepared, and that's not what that means. It just means that we had never run that order. However, I was confident that they could get the job done because the process was going to process. And so it may not have been perfect because it wasn't as many reps with that order, but I knew they knew how to make the adjustments, and I knew that they could trust the work that we have been doing to know that no matter if I wake up that morning and say we're changing something, you do the exact same things we've been working on and everything will work out fine.
And one thing that I really like about the United States is, and specifically the women, is that they haven't had issues, dating back to, I think 2008 technically was the last time that United States had any type of issues. 2009, they didn't, get out of the heats, but that's because Moona Lee got injured after she got the baton from, I think it was Alex Anderson on the second leg, right? Moona Lee just got injured. So that's not like an accident. That wasn't like a missed handoff or passing outside the zone. That was injury. But the United States women have been on the podium every single global championships since 2011. Despite ups and downs, despite changes, despite all these different things, I think that the United States is going to be ready no matter what. And we have that consistency. We have 3 legs who ran in Budapest last year. We have 3 women, Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, Sha'Carri Richardson, who all train in the exact same group. So this is gonna make things very easy, in my opinion. I think that should be the 4x1. Yes, there's going to be arguments for Tamari Davis. Now, Tamari Davis, you could probably argue that she is the best starter for the United States right now. Maybe not since, Tiana Madison, who had those explosive starts back in 2012, 2016, all that. But, so, you could see an alternative team where it's like Tamari Davis to Gabby Thomas to TT Terry to Sha'Carri Richardson, right? That could be alternative. Gabby Thomas, of course, she's really strong on the second leg. TT Terry, we haven't seen her run, third leg on a relay, but she does have some really strong, curve running skills where last year, where she was very consistent in the 200, she was blazing off that curve. So that's a possibility there. You could also see something like Tamari Davis, Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, Sha'Carri Richardson. That would keep all 3 women, who finished top 3 in the 100. That would keep them together. And because they're training in the same group, they could practice together as well. Throw in Tamari Davis out the blocks. That would give her, that explosive start. That could be a very good team. But in my opinion, I think I do like Gabby Thomas just slightly more on that third leg. That's going to really help the United States to, not only potentially, win another gold medal, but then potentially get close to that world record. I think that world record is in the conversation for this year. Now, Jamaica, of course, is, not looking as great considering Shelly-Ann, of course, is not in, the 10-6 form that she was. Elaine Thompson-Herah is injured and she's not in that 10-6 form. Sha'Carri Jackson, I think she'll get back to things, but, she's not in that, 10-6 form yet. We'll see. But you know, it's going to be really exciting to see how these things play out. I do also want to give a shout out to Michelle Lewis-Freeman and Mike Marsh. Their jobs are not easy. I do think that, you know, the finishes in the 100-meter dash made their jobs slightly easier, but their jobs are not easy. So always want to give some props to them. Let me know what you think about these 4x1s for the United States as we look towards the Paris Olympic Games. Do you think that, you know, the teams that I put down are the clearest cut teams? Christian Coleman, Fred Curley, Kenny B, Noah Lyles for the men, Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, Gabby Thomas, Sha'Carri Richardson for the women? Or do you think that I should, you know, completely throw things out, do a different team? Should there be some subs? Should we see, you know, other athletes running the finals? Let me know what you think. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.